Hello everyone and welcome to another Last Epoch video. I'm Baby Llama, and today I want to talk to you about just a couple things I wish I had known coming into Last Epoch. I know there's a lot of new players at the moment getting ready for Season 3 that's coming next month. There's also, like myself, people who picked up the game to play during the Steam Summer Sale that I'm honestly one of the best purchases I've made in a while. I'm really enjoying this game. I'm really enjoying monoliths. I'm not anywhere near like top players at the moment, but I'm starting to understand the game, starting to grasp some things, and I just wanted to share some things that I wish I had known before I had started. Granted, you don't need to know any of these things. I particularly came into the game not wanting to know a lot of the complex systems because I didn't want to get overwhelmed the way I tend to get overwhelmed when there's way too many things to learn. So if you're like me, then you don't have to worry about any of these things. But if there's a couple lessons I learned and you maybe want to learn a couple of those too before you reach endgame, then totally this is the right video for you. So don't forget to like and subscribe if this is helpful. And feel free to keep watching. So number one, the most important thing that I wish I had known from the start is you don't have to pick up everything. I had the impression that I had to maximize my gold gain early in the game, so the way I took that was kind of like the way I handle MMOs or other RPGs when I'm first starting to play them, which essentially meant picking everything up and selling everything. And what ended up happening for me was just that my inventory, got full constantly, and I had to all the time either run back to town, and by run I mean teleport back to town, or shatter stuff with the forging system, which I'll talk more about later, because if you're a new player you may not even know what I'm talking about with that. But yeah, it is definitely a waste of time. I didn't know that gold was something that was just gonna like come around inevitably. I reached the late game. Once I reached the end game of Last Epoch, I essentially just made tons of gold naturally by just running the game. I've never been at a gold deficit. There's never been a moment where I'm like, dang, I wish I had more gold. Respecking and like gold dumps in this game are essentially non-taxing, if that makes sense. Like respecking, costs like, I don't know, 9,000 gold, which may seem like a lot if you're just starting, but like, okay, take a look. I've just been casually playing and I have like almost 1.5 million gold. Definitely, something I don't have to be greedy with my gold, I mean. But obviously, this is a game that, this is a looter. This is a game that requires people to be constantly like picking up better gear, and like, I think my biggest fear was also to miss out on an item that was really good. That leads to my second tip, or thing that I wish I had known, and that is about loot filters. I can't stress how good loot filters are in this game. I had never experienced a game with such a nice system to like only pick up the items that you want. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still learning how to use the loot system, the loot filters as best as possible, but it's definitely something that is not as complicated as I thought it would be. I had heard about loot filters briefly, just like as I was reading reviews of the game and stuff, but I never really, I didn't think it would be too important. I wish I had taken a couple minutes early in my time to just like understand, or even like get a template. There's a ton of like beginner-friendly leveling templates for loot filters online that you can Google and find. If you need help finding them, let me know. But basically all I did was go to one of the like resource websites, found a build that I was kind of interested in, or a build similar to the one that I'm building, and copied the loot filter, enabled it, and it made my life so much easier. Now anytime I'm just like running echoes, running maps, dungeons, whatever, I am only, the game only shows me the type of items that I want or need, and that can be whatever you want, you know, like here are the loot filters. I'm not going to go in depth on how to like get all this set up. That may be for another video. There's definitely like already resources online available on that explain this. That'll probably do a much better job than I will, especially at the moment that I'm still kind of like learning. You know, I don't want to give you guys any wrong information. I'm still learning a little bit, but definitely something that's worth checking out. Number 3, this is kind of a really small quality of life thing that I wish I had seen from the start, but it has to do with settings. If you open your settings menu, you know, I play on controller. I know some of you might be playing on WSD or clicking or whatever, but like this I think helps regardless of your gameplay. So if you sort down all the way down to here, this section, I enabled auto compare items. What this does is that it automatically compare, like it'll show you the item you have equipped and the item that you are hovering. So that just makes it a lot easier to kind of like very immediately see what the, you know, compare your items and see, is this an upgrade? Is this worth me picking up? I don't know. Mod ranges are also something that like I wish this was default, so it could show you like mod ranges. Let me show you. If you know what mod ranges are, here I'm showing you this item, for example. Here it says 8 melee critical strike chance, range 7 to 8. So right now, I know for a fact that this currently has the highest melee critical strike chance possible, because it ranges from 7 to 8. So I don't have to worry about like crafting it anymore or like improving that in any way necessarily. But it just also kind of gives you an idea of how good or bad the item that you got is from a very quick glance, at a very quick glance. Enabling that just kind of helps. Let me pull that up again. Okay, so 2 other things that really helped me, and these may be super minor, I don't know, to me they helped me, but floating player name helped. Especially if you're playing with like your friends, if you're playing in a space that has like more people, if you're in towns, just being able to very quickly tell apart NPCs from players, from your friends, from whatever, has helped me at least. I just like that clarity. I don't think it clutters the screen too much to see my username and other people's usernames. To me, it just helps a lot with visual. And the other thing that has helped me a lot, honestly, is once I got my loot filter set up and once I started to learn more about the game, you are able to like display the length of names as like really condensed, or the long ones. I think the default is long, but you can definitely make it shorter if your screen just feels like it's littered with text. To me, this helped. I really enjoy having it in short. It helps me. But it definitely helps me the most in my Steam Deck. When I'm playing on a Steam Deck, just because it's a small screen, having so much text and having so much like stuff around kind of makes it a bit less clear and less visible. So definitely something I would encourage you to do if you're playing on like on a handheld device or on a small laptop. Moving on to number 5, understanding the forge obviously is a very like obvious thing that I think people would first say, like, oh, I wish I had known how to use the forge from the very start. Yeah, I could probably say that about every game. I wish I understood crafting immediately. But the thing I really want to like take a second for you guys to understand is, more than anything, glyphs and runes. There's runes and glyphs that are rarer than others. If you hadn't noticed, like, obviously you can very easily tell that the more you play, if you're getting tons of glyphs or anything, any currency, and like a lot less from a different one, you can kind of tell which one's rare, which one's common. But sometimes, I don't know, especially I think with the runes here, I had heard of people, or like I had a friend that like used their Rune of Havoc, very early in the game and didn't realize that these are really hard to come across. It takes a while and a lot of like grinding. So just knowing that like some of these are harder to get than others, I think that's something that's like probably worth mentioning and worth knowing. Now, I'm the kind of person who is kind of like on the other extreme where I am so worried that everything is going to be hard to get later that I'm really greedy with my resources. I kind of mentioned that with the gold. When I start a new game, I never know how hard it is to come across gold or how easy it is to come across gold, so I just kind of like hoard it as much as I can. But definitely having an idea of which ones are common and which ones are not is important. You know, Rune of Shattering is probably like the biggest gold dump in this game. You can buy them at any vendor. I'll show you. Here, if I go to this vendor, from the start of the game, I'm pretty sure you get like all vendors selling Rune of Shatterings. I honestly just pick them up as much as I can. Not that I need to. I never run out. I'm never like about to run out, but essentially it just allows me to kind of accumulate them, and I'm never really bothered. Those, if you're familiar with World of Warcraft or other games like that, essentially the Rune of Shattering is the disenchant. It's the destroys X item to get resources from it. So basically I'm just going to grab this. I don't want to get rid of my wand. I'm going to move this to the forge. I'm going to equip Rune of Shattering. And what this is going to do is essentially break the item down and give me randomized versions of these affixes. So if I shatter this, it just sends... It only gave me one, so I didn't get a good chance there. I could have gotten all three of them, but it only gave me one of those. This can be helpful also for when you're like running into inventory issues. If you're running a thing and you don't want to go back to base or go back to town, you can just very quickly like open your inventory, shatter a bunch of items that you know you won't need, clear up some space, and that's an easy way to just keep your inventory clean. Always, you know, make sure that these aren't like upgrades for yourself or for other characters that you maybe want to leveling, but keep in mind that some of these have like affixes that you really want, and that's where the loot filters come in handy, because you can like filter out you can filter out the affixes that you don't want and only let the game show you items with the affixes that you do want. So if you're particularly, let's say you really need fire resistance and you filter the game to only show you fire resistance items, you can totally do that. And then you're able to like very easily just pick up those items, disenchant them, and get the affixes for your stash of crafting. And if you see here, crafting materials, here are all the affixes that you accumulate over the game. So again, some of these are more rare than others. The ones that give like attributes to your class are really important. Those are rare. You know, some of these are particular to minions. I feel like, I don't know what it is about me in this game, but like for the longest time I was just like, I feel like this game is trying to get me to play a minion class, because all the affixes I'm getting are for minions, and it was really frustrating. But you know, it comes with time. You just keep playing and understand it more. But yeah, again, kind of like what I was saying, I'm not going too in depth with all these systems. I'm just trying to like show you a bit so that it leads you into the path of learning what it is that you want to be learning over time. And so this leads to my last thing that I wish I had known starting Last Epoch. I've already kind of mentioned this earlier when I was talking about gold, but respeccing your talents and your passives is ridiculously easy in this game. It is the most forgiving system I have seen in a while. And honestly, I'm very, very happy with it, because it allows me to just be able to like mess up, you know? Like, I don't feel like I need to play perfectly, or you know, I feel like I don't have to. It's okay if I make a mistake. It's okay if I'm just going in blindly. If you're someone who doesn't want to learn about all these other systems and just like play and discover stuff on your own, totally fine, because if you mess up later in the game, you can very easily change your points and stuff. It is not expensive. It doesn't take time. yes, there is a bit of a tiny grind when you respec. Like for example, if I go to my skills, oh, I actually have a couple of these that I have to put, but if I come, let's say I want to respec Fireball. I put respec, I click this button, I select despecialize skill, so that means it gives me a clean slate. I won't start with 21 points, I will start with 10, I believe, yes, 10. But the first time I did this, I was like, dang, it's gonna take so much time to go from 10 to 20, you know, but it was so quick, it was ridiculous. Like, I did 2 echoes, and I was already back at max points. So definitely not a taxing mechanic, not something that you need to be too concerned about. Don't judge me, I obviously have to fill these in a second. And I guess there's a bonus last thing that I wish I had known, and that is how easy it is to level alts in this game. I was shocked, and I love it because I love being able to have a lot of characters, a lot of different builds, a lot of whatever. And then, man, this game is really good at that. Basically, when you go, you start your game, you reach level 15, level 20, if you reach Act 2, you can do dungeons, and those are level skips. So let's say you're playing through this and you reach the first dungeon, which is Lightless Arbor. You'll reach this point, the surface, and then instead of going towards Cultist Town to go on to like Chapter 3 or whatever, you go north, and you go towards Lightless Arbor. You do the dungeon. You can also skip it if you have like charms and keys from your main account, which honestly I thought those were also really rare. They're super easy to come across. But yeah, you skip this and this takes you all the way to like Chapter 5, I think, or Chapter 4. And then you can do that for all the other dungeons. You have 3 dungeons in total in this game. There's Temporal Sanctum, there's the Forge, where is it called? Soulfire Bastion. And they all have their own cool things. I encourage you to complete them at least once on your characters, but if you don't want to later on, it's okay to just jump to the final boss in each one. Those make leveling really easy. The other thing that I didn't know, and I haven't found any a lot of information on it online, but once you reach level 15, you are able, if you've unlocked monoliths on your main account, you can just teleport to the monoliths, and you get a ton of experience. You're probably gonna die a lot. You're probably gonna not have a great time, but you can get a lot of experience just by doing these as a low level. I would start with the first one, the lowest level, 58. You get experience immediately because of a quest. I'm still kind of trying to understand exactly how that worked, how I was able to level up so fast with monoliths, but it's really fast. And let me show you that maybe on one of my characters, on one of my lower level characters that I kind of started leveling. Okay, so here I have my Necromancer. I haven't played this character too much, but like level 24, I think. If I hit map and quests and I go all the way to end of time, I can teleport to any of these monoliths as a level 24 and try to do them. It's pretty cool. See, and many of these also have like Tome of Experience. This one, if you defeat it, you get Tomes of Experience. That's cool. Helps out a ton. If you've been able to accumulate a couple like legendaries or uniques, set items as you level up, you can totally use those for your benefit and help your low-level characters just have a lot of stats. I would also encourage you to look into a guide of how to optimize your items with the Forge, and basically allow yourself to have a little twink that makes leveling super easy, and you can push into corruption in no time. And honestly, yeah, it may take you a while to kill some of these, but if you're good at kiting, and definitely this is a lot easier with some specs, with some classes than others, but if you're good at kiting, if you have minions to tank damage, and obviously if you have good items, then this is very doable, even if you're low level. And I almost died there, haha. So honestly, that would be So, alright, so that would be all of my tips for now. Let me know if you want me to go in depth into any one of these a little bit more, make a whole video for some of them. I know I just kind of reached surface level here, but I kind of wanted to put them on your radar because there are already a lot of good resources out there on YouTube and other websites, but if you don't know what to look for, then it gets hard to learn. So hopefully this video was helpful, at least to get you on the right path. If you liked it, if you found any tip that was helpful or anything you didn't know, please like the video. It helps me a ton. Please subscribe. I'll be making more Last Epoch content and possibly other ARPGs. So thank you so much for watching, and hope you have a good day.